Okay, look, I've been playing TF2 for a long time, almost 4,600 hours, in fact, which, is quite a long time. And over that time, I've had a lot of questions about the game. Some of these questions most likely have an answer to them if I spend just a little bit of time Googling, but I think it would be far more fun to make a video out of them instead, and then hear what your questions you've always had about TF2 are as well. So this isn't too serious. I guess that some of the questions will probably have simple answers, so feel free to answer them if you have the answers, but I'm doing this more for a video than actually trying to figure out the answers to what I'm asking, if that makes sense. Also, a bunch of you guys who watch my videos all the time aren't actually subscribed to my channel, and I would love to see how far we can push this year. So if you go on to enjoy the video, please make sure you click the button. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe if I upload a stinker. So thanks. So my first question is, why is it that 2 Fort, High Tower, and Turbine are generally the maps nobody caps on? Like, who decided it would be those 3 maps, and why not maps like Harvest or Con King, which are actually built to be deathmatch maps? This never really made sense to me. People being adamant about the fact that you're not allowed to cap on High Tower and 2 Fort and other maps like that. It's being so much ingrained into the culture of those maps that even if you dare try and push the cart or cap the intelligence, a lot of the time you can actually just get kicked from the game you're playing. I am aware of the 50-50 rules, so, if half of the server wants it to not be capped, you don't cap it. If half do, then you do, and all of that stuff, but why those maps? It also makes it almost impossible to do the contracts, since you have to play all of those maps that people don't want you to cap on, and the game has to finish in order for the contract to count as being done, and you have to do that, and you have to play all 3 of these maps if you just want to get the reward from the Brazil contract right at the end. Seems like a bit of an oversight from the TF team, or maybe they just did it on purpose, but either way, I wasn't happy when I saw 2 Fort was the first one I had to play all those years ago. Okay, so this question came from one of my streams, and they asked, why is it that Soldier's rocket jumping mechanic was kept in the game when it was actually a bug? So honestly, I didn't really know at the start that rocket jumping initially was a bug and not a gameplay feature that they designed for this, but they kept it in, and I'm assuming did a bit of work on it to make it work a little bit better. Like, I doubt that, that it was in the game in the form it's in right now by mistake, because it seems way too polished for that. And if they didn't, then that is like one hell of a mistake, making probably one of the biggest side communities of the whole game completely by accident. I mean, it might be fairly obvious why they kept this one in the game, and I'm glad they did, but I would love to hear the thought process behind the whole thing. Maybe when they figured out that it was a thing people could do, why they made the decisions to keep it in, and how they did all of that stuff. I think just hearing what Valve devs have to say about making TF2 would just be quite cool. Maybe Valve should give me the Team Fortress 2 YouTube channel and we can start making stuff like that. Who knows? Okay, realistically, if I was going to have one of the TF2 accounts on any socials, it would be Twitter. I really want their Twitter account. Okay, so my third question is, why are there some weapons that don't have any special versions of them when some weapons have almost one of every single quality of them? Take the black box, for example. You can get the black box in unique, strange, collectors, festive, strange festive, Australium, and you can use war paints on this thing so you can get an unusual version of the black box. So that is nearly one of every single weapon quality that exists in this game, all on that one weapon. It's literally just missing vintage and genuine as far as I can remember. And that's really cool. There's loads of options to pick from, but then you look at a weapon like the unarmed combat. It literally only has the unique quality. So why can't you get a strange unarmed combat or a collector's unarmed combat or anything like that? But you can get a million different versions of something like the black box. It honestly might have something to do, obviously, with how popular a weapon is, I guess. But in that case, the original would have war paints on it. And right now, it doesn't. I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about why certain weapons are strange and certain weapons aren't, why certain weapons have war paints and why some weapons don't. It's just, it feels a little bit weird to me that there's not like a strange version of everything and like a war paint version of everything. I know that sounds like a lot of work, actually, but there's not that many weapons missing now, I don't think. It just seems like there's no consistency across the whole thing when it's something I personally would love to see because I really want a strange version of everything. Maybe most other TF2 players just don't care about that though. Okay, and my fourth and final question is a bit of a weird one, a little bit of a joke one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. And that is that why doesn't the Sandvich get tumors when teleporting when the bread in expiration date does? Like I said, this one isn't as serious, obviously, but in expiration date, the soldier teleported bread for like 3 days, and it grows a whole bunch of tumors and grows into the bread monster, right? Like that is the whole story of expiration date. if I remember correctly. It was years ago, man. But why doesn't the Sandvich ever get affected by teleporting? Even if you obviously haven't spent 3 days worth teleporting the Sandvich over and over again, there must still have like some kind of effect on the Sandvich because it is bread and it grew tumors on the bread and, you know, like, why? I mean, I do think I answered my own question then while asking it. Like, you literally just haven't teleported it as long, so the effects might not be as much, but still, I thought I'd ask it. Anyway, that is going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you leave this video a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. And also make sure you leave your questions you've always had about TF2 down in the comments below. I might make a community version of this video and showcase some of the questions you guys have always had about this game. That is if you want to see that. If you don't, then I won't make it. Also, if you want to go ahead and go down into the description, you'll find a Patreon link down there and also a link to go ahead and buy yourselves some Spikey Mikey stickers. So you obviously don't have to do either of those things, but it really helps me out if you do want to. So, you know, they're there. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.